guys, it's Nurse Jet, Nursing the Truth, and I hope everyone is having a great day. It's so wonderful to be back with my subscribers and viewers, and I hope this is going to be a great and quick short video. Now, I've had a couple of people comment about reincarnation and the transmigration of the souls, and they were a little bit upset about it. So I kind of want to make the people feel at ease. And like I said, Christianity, or the Orthodox Roman Catholic Church, took out the word reincarnation around the 500s. Now, what we have to understand is that every civilization, whether it be India, Egypt, Hinduism, and all that, you have to understand that these people all talked about the same thing. So why is it that every tribe or culture talked about this, but when it came down to this particular philosophy per se, why did they clamp that off? Well, the Egyptian civilization and Hinduism, they shared a lot. In fact, a lot of similarities. As we know, the Indus Valley in Egypt and Samaria are the three oldest civilizations. Now, as we know, Enki was over Africa. That was his lot. And Enlil was over Mesopotamia. And Anana was over the Indus Valley. That's where you get your Göbekli Tepe and all that stuff from. And Arata. And the epics of Gilgamesh stated that Gilgamesh was a descendant of the Arata's people. Now, even over 5,000 years ago, the transmigration of the souls, were talked about. I mean, there were no conflicts in religions or scriptures or beliefs or anything like that, because they all thought the same and all taught the same. And so we're going to analyze a little bit of the Egyptian and the Indian or the Hindu versions of the soul. Now, the symbol of the ankh, okay, the ankh is called the key of life, and I love that because it looks, something like a gun or something, but when they're holding it, and they're always putting it up to the god's mouths. I don't know if y'all have ever realized that, but anyway, on Wikipedia it says that the origin of the symbol remains a mystery to Egyptologists, and no single hypothesis has been widely accepted. One of the earliest suggestions is that of Thomas Inman, first published in 1869, says, "It is by Egyptologists called the symbol of life. It is also called the handled cross. It represents the male triad and the female unit under a descent form. There are few symbols more commonly met in Egyptian art." And then it says that the Pavathram of the Hindus, particularly the Brahmins, wear this key-like symbol made up of harba grass during every ritual or puja. Like Egyptian gods, get or give energy with ankh. That's funny because I'm, like I said, watching shows and it's like giving the ankh to the mouth. Wow. So Hindus get energy from the sun by wearing Pavatham. The above passage can be interpreted as lingam and yoni of Saivism as well. Okay. So the concept of the soul between the Hindus and the Egyptians. The soul is situated in the heart. And the heart is mentioned in all of the Egyptian literatures. And it says, and the heart is said to be formed from a drop of blood of the mother's heart. And to ancient Egyptians, the heart was the seat of the soul. Thus, it was the center of emotions, will, and intentions. In their tradition, heart was the key of afterlife. This is evidenced by the many expressions in the Egyptian language which incorporates the word JB. So, the soul in the Hinduism is situated in the subtle heart. Soul is the origin of consciousness, which is transferred through the brain to all the neurons. Okay, I guess that's where that saying comes from because my husband says it all the time. It must cross your mind before it comes to the lips to come out through your mouth. So whatever is inside of you has to go through the brain and then shoots out to the mouth. And he just said that. Hush, Sonny. So he just said that to my daughter, I think, the other day. So anyway, soul and the super soul. Soul is the SHEUT of the gods. I don't know how to say that, so I don't want to make it sound funny or anything. It says the word shout means shadow. Hey. Egyptians surmise that a shadow contains something of the person it represents. Through the association, statues of people and deities were sometimes referred to as shadows. Shadows are identifies as a representation or an existing image of the respective being. Thus, as soul is the shadow, it has quality of the origin, but it cannot be equated with the quantity of power of its creator, as it cannot be misunderstood with the person because of whom shadow is seen. And the soul is also identified as rays of the god Ra, the sun god. So think about it. Was it necessarily, with the statues of the gods, was it necessarily that they were doing idol worship, or was it a situation where that was their shadow? I mean, it's something to think about. So according to the Hindus, God or the super soul is compared with the sun, and the soul with its rays. Soul and God are similar but different. The famous philosopher in Hinduism, Shripad Swami, compared the supreme with the moon and the souls with its shadow. When the pots are filled with water and arranged under the moon, they reflect the moon. Moon is compared with the super soul, and souls with reflection of the shadow. Very interesting. So soul is the minute spark of the supreme. Now, just as we've said that in the Gnostics literature and what they were trying to spread around, is that we all have the spark of the divine within us. In Luke, this Jesus says that the kingdom of God is within you. The Egyptian proverb says, "Man, know thyself." So this was not a new saying. Egypt always said that, "Man, know thyself." So soul in Egyptian is also known as the Ka, K-A. Ka mean the spark or the vital spark. And according to Aryan tradition, soul is the minute part of God, just like a fire emits the spark. The supreme being, Lord Krishna, is present within each being as super soul and as his minute spark, the soul. So think about a fire, the sun, right? And that's the supreme, is the fire, the sun. And we are the little bitty specks from that fire. So the soul is also personal. The Ba, the BA, was everything that makes an individual unique and similar to the notion of personality in Egyptian literature. The Ba is an aspect of a person that the Egyptians believed would live within the heart during the life and after the body died. Usually, Ba means person or a form which has attributes, ability, or acting desires and attention. Now, although some unauthorized sects in Hinduism believe that soul is impersonal, soul has form according to the Vedas, Upanishads, Dharma, and the Puranas. Soul is within the body, and according to Bhagavad Gita, wears body just like we wear clothes. And therefore, just like Egyptians, the Aryans also believed in the form of the soul. So basically, our body is a material vehicle for that little spark. And, you know, it is what it is. So the soul is mentioned as a bird. Soul is often seen in the form of a bird in Egyptian art. As we know in the Upanishads, soul and supersoul are compared with the birds. In the Brahma Sutras, it is said that two birds enter in the cave of the heart, and one sees and one eats. Wow. And as you see over the pharaoh's bodies and their caskets or coffins or sarcophagi, however you want to call it, or their sepulchres, you'll see the bird and the head of a man in representation of the soul. So, transmigration of the soul. As we all know, the Egyptians believed in reincarnation and transmigration of the soul into the new body. The soul departs from his old body and goes into a new one. In Hinduism, this transmigration is compared with changing of clothes. So now you understand how the theology came from Egypt and a little bit of the Hinduism, Indian folklore, and over there in the ancient East, they know about this thing. And so when we have been told in the scriptures that, you know, we are going to die, we're going to resurrect, you know, but see, a lot of times people don't understand the scriptures that we all rise in Christ, right? So we're going to be illuminated. Okay, so anyway, that's going to be in another video, I suppose. So the myth of the Nile. The river Nile is also known as the Blue Nile in Egypt because of its blue color. And actually it is named after its color, which is blue. It is a Sanskrit word for Nila, N-I-L-A, meaning blue, which is transliterated as Nile. And it's awesome because almost all ancient Egyptian names are Sanskrit names. So, you know, Anana and Enki, boy, they really had all this synchronized, didn't they? So, scholars around the world knew the connection between India and Egypt. And also Eusebius said that the Ethiopians left the Indus Valley and civilized or made a civilization in Ethiopia. So at the time of King Ahoda, Dasaratha wrote 10 letters after marrying his daughter to the Egyptian king Amhotep. The letter was written by Dasaratha to Amhotep, was discovered in 1887 by local Egyptians who secretly dug most of these letters from the ruined city of Amarna. The word is transliterated from Sanskrit word Amarna, meaning no death. In this case, the eternal kingdom. So isn't that something? You have Akhenaten in Amarna in his eternal kingdom. And it says that the correspondence of the pharaohs, these tablets are written in Dasaratha, in Egyptian local language called Akkadian cuneiform, so that King Amhotep could understand them. Only meaning of some words and phrases is understood and translated by archaeologists. Bird in a cage, meaning without the Vedic foundation, any human society is like a bird in a cage. A brick may move, meaning a brick may easily move from under its partner. It says, still I will not move from under the feet of the king, the glorious one, as my daughter is your wife and my glory is yours. Okay. Hell like Brahm the sun, meaning And know that the king is held like the sun in the sky, for his troops and his chariots and multitude, all goes well. My glory lies within your faith, which rests in Brahma. So it just has these little things that were written, and it gives you the words in Indian or in Hinduism. Okay, so let's see. Manu, Manes, Minos, and Moses. These four names overshadow the entire ancient and modern world. They appear at the cradles of four different people to play the same role. They were lawgivers. The idea of lawgiver in different cultures or pseudo religions is born of Hinduism, originated from the description of Manu, the lawgiver, and the Dharma was modified into different cultures through Egyptian literature. Now, like I said, I don't know if I fully agree with Egypt received from India, or even if Egypt received from Samaria. They're very old. Diodorus Siculus also stated that Menes had introduced the worship of the gods and the practice of sacrifice, as well as a more elegant and luxurious style in living. The Egyptians were just like Indian Hindus. They believed kings were half god, half man. Indian words for kings and palaces are synonymous with gods and temples. Diodorus links Hercules with Egypt and India. Hercules was one of the 12 ancient gods of Egypt, and he cleared India of wild animals, says Diodorus. Egyptian kings call themselves children of the sun. This corresponds with Surah Vamsa of Hindu scriptures. Like Indian Hindu kings, Egyptian kings had two names: name given at birth and coronation name as well. And that's true. They had their names, and then I think it was you had Ramesses, and I want to say that his name was Mary Ra Septipin Ra. I'm not sure, but anyway, I think it was one of those. So there's a lot of similarities. You can find all of this stuff that I'm talking about, because it's kind of a lengthy thing. I'm not going to go through it, but it's on the website. I'm going to spell it out for you: SANATANADHAMMA.wordpress.com, and the title is Egyptian Civilization and Hinduism, Revelation of Hidden Secrets. So anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. It's kind of neat how you just kind of stumble across things and you get to learn each day. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be bringing you another video shortly. Hotep. Bye.